Hello, Team Zeigler. We're excited to be with you today and give you an update on some neat things that are happening throughout the organization. And here with me today is Aaron Zeigler, our president. We have a bunch of questions that we're going to walk Aaron through, and then we also have some pretty cool updates happening throughout the company. So, good to have you here, Aaron.
Good to be here, Mike, and hello, Team Zeigler.
First question is, our theme this year for 2016 was Reach Higher. And a neat theme for us. One of our big goals was to hit $1 billion in sales. Tell us how we're coming on that.
Yeah, we've been working on that goal for a number of years, and each year we keep getting closer and closer. Last year we were at $915 million in sales. This year we're up 7% in sales. Parts and service are both up over 10%. So everybody's doing a really good job with the Reach Higher theme. And with a strong finish this year, we're going to hit that $1 billion mark, Mike.
Well, that's really exciting. When will the motorsports dealership and the tracks be open and ready to roll? There's a lot of buzz out there, a lot of excitement. People are talking about it. I've driven by it, and it looks like the store keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Well, it's taken on a life of its own, and that's a question I get asked a lot. So they're making great progress right now on the building. Building is going to be open in February. We did do a little addition onto it. That's going to be open a couple months after that in April. We're going to have a restaurant and bar in the motorsports dealership. And then we've got some really neat stuff that we're going to be doing with that as well. So in the interior, it's going to have a mountain coming down out of the wall with a motorcycle jumping over top of it. It's got a waterfall in it. We're going to have 15, 20 different bikes hanging from the ceilings. We've got a really neat indoor service write-up area that'll be big enough for a semi to drive into, and then a big storage facility as well. The tracks are done now. We have not opened them to the public yet. We're going to open them to the public in the spring. However, we've been out riding a little bit, testing them out. We did a couple of employee events with the motorsports guys here in the last few weeks, and I'm absolutely elated with how the tracks came out. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, pretty excited. I've had a chance to ride out there with my son a few times, and boy, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to do some neat things with the tracks too, Mike. We're going to have kind of a fleet of our own vehicles, and we're going to allow companies to come and rent out the track and use our vehicles on a daily basis. We're going to have an in and out service too. So somebody comes and buys a vehicle from us, they can store it with us, and then they can get it out, go ride the track, and then when they're done, we'll wash the vehicle for them, fill it full of gas, put it back away. So it's kind of a turnkey type deal for somebody. And also with motorsports, we've got a huge storage facility. There are hundreds of thousands of square feet out behind our facility that we've got. And we're going to not only be able to store motorsports, but we're going to be able to store bikes, boats, side-by-sides, motorhomes, you name it, whatever you want to store. If you want to store a car in there, we're going to be able to do that going forward with the amount of room that we have.
That's really neat. I heard it's just a huge storage facility, and with in and out service, if I understand right, I could own a dirt bike or a side-by-side and not even have to store it at my house, right?
Correct. You don't need to store it at your house, and you won't need a trailer either.
Okay.
Because you'll just leave it right there on site, and it's a turnkey program. Nobody in the country's done this before. We're going to be the first ones. Really looking forward to that.
So we'll really be on the cutting edge with that. That's exciting. Well, let's talk more about, because I like to eat food, let's talk more about this restaurant. So we had to put an addition on the motorsports store. What's the deal with putting a restaurant in there?
Well, we we wanted a liquor license. In order to get a liquor license, you got to have a restaurant and bar in the state of Michigan. But to make this a truly destination place where people will drive from hours and hours away, we felt like we had to have a really cool restaurant and bar in the facility. So I think the restaurant's going to seat about 120 people. We've got room for 20 people at the bar. It's going to be modeled after the Tap House in Kalamazoo. We partnered up with Ken Miller, who owns a lot of restaurants and bars around Kalamazoo, is going to run the restaurant and bar for us. And
Ken's with the Millennium Group, restaurant group, right?
He is, correct.
So, great. Do we have a name yet for the restaurant?
You know, right now we're kind of modeling it after the Tap House, so we may use that name. But if somebody can come up with a better name, we could certainly change that still.
Well, my wheels are turning a little bit. I wonder, should we do a contest for Team Zeigler? Maybe somebody come up with a really cool name for the restaurant.
I think we should, and why don't we do this? So we would love to hear your ideas of what we should call our restaurant and bar at the motorsports dealership. You can email them to the ideas to you.
Sure.
So your email is
MVR@Zeigler.com.
MVR@Zeigler.com. Email the ideas, and then how about if somebody comes up with a good name and we use that name, we'll give them a $500 credit for food and beer at the new restaurant.
And you can't use it all at the same time.
No, they should probably use it over a 6-month period. So.
That's a pretty cool contest. So send in your nominations for a name for our new restaurant to MVR@Zeigler.com. And excited to see all the creativeness that we have out there at Team Zeigler. So awesome stuff. Well, we've got a few more questions here, and this one's from Josh Turner in Plainwell, and he has a question for you of what separates Zeigler from our competition out there?
So we talked about this before. What we sell is a commodity, and what that means is you can get the same product, same price at a lot of different places. So is what separates us, it's really Team Zeigler. It's our employees and what you do on a daily basis. And it's exceeding that customer's expectations and going that extra mile every single time for a customer. And they get an experience with us that they're not going to get anywhere else. That's what really separates us from the competition. That's what we built the company on, and that's what's going to continue to propel us into the future.
Absolutely. And speaking of customer service, we're actually doing customer service trainings next week in all of our stores with our recruiting and training team. So excited to spend time with all of you on the customer service fronts. This comes from Kirk Sprague-Williams, and Kirk works at J.D. Byrider here in Kalamazoo on the CNAC side of things. He says, Aaron, I'm a huge tech geek, and I'm wondering when we'll have the autopilot vehicles for sale on our lots here at Zeigler.
So Kirk's talking about autonomous driving vehicles. So you get in a vehicle and you put in your GPS and you don't drive the car. Every manufacturer right now is working on technology, and the technology is moving really fast. It's going to stair-step in. Each year you're going to see more and more technology as we get closer to being able to do that. Things like active cruise control, where you can come up behind a car right now, it'll slow down. BMW 7 Series, if you start to cross over the lane, it'll adjust and move you back into the lane. That type of technology is going to keep moving forward. The manufacturers have thrown out somewhere around 2020 that they think they'll have an autonomous driving vehicle that'll be ready for the road. Question is, will the government and regulations be ready for that? So I think in some form it'll be there by 2020, but it may be a little longer before you can get in a car and not have to pay attention and the car just drives you to where you're going. But it is coming. It's exciting. We're going to be obviously selling them. All the manufacturers are going to have them going forward. It's really going to take our industry, I think, to another level. Absolutely.
You've had an opportunity to be out at the motorsports track a little bit, test it out, make sure it's all dialed in. And what's one of your favorite products that we sell on the motorsports side of thing? Tell us a little bit about that. You've had a chance to drive a lot of different ones, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm like a kid in a candy store when I go out there. So this summer I had a couple of 310XT jet skis sit down to 310 horsepower. Those were an absolute blast to ride.
Wow.
I've been riding a Kawasaki 250 motorcycle out at the track. So got a ton of great products. However, I think my favorite products right now, well, why don't I just show them the video of what we were doing last week?
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Let's take a look at this thing. It's pretty crazy.
So this is a Maverick X3 made by BRP. It's brand new. It is unbelievable how much fun this thing is to drive around the track. And that's me out there driving last week. And as you can see, whoa! I saved it.
Did you have your seatbelt on?
I didn't do an endo there.
Did you have your seatbelt on?
I did have my seatbelt on.
Helmet?
I did.
Good,
I had a
good.
5-point harness. So
Dan Scheid asked me to make sure you had that done. So good deal. A lot of fun. Another question here comes from Ken Caracula in Kalamazoo, Honda. Are there any plans for the company to do any type of 401k matching in the future?
Yeah, so that's something that we've done in the past. And at the end of every year, we take a look at that and make a decision for the following year. And the employee benefits right now with the health insurance and 401k go hand in hand. It's one of the toughest decisions that we have to make. And for about a 3, 4, 5-year period, we were able to keep our health insurance almost flat with very little increases. Dan Scheid did a magnificent job of doing that. Part of the way that we did that is the company kept funding more and more of the health insurance side of things. So when we stopped doing the 401k match, we took that money and put it all into health insurance to try to keep those costs down. Unfortunately, with Obamacare, insurance costs are just going out of sight right now. And the government's got to get control of this. Both the Republicans and the Democrats have said that this makes absolutely no sense what's going on out there. You're seeing 30, 40% increases in some cases with health insurance. So the choice is we can put the money into the 401k where somebody would get it, maybe 20, 30, 40 years from now, or we can give it to them right now to reduce the health insurance costs. So we've talked to most of our employees. They're like, hey, we'd much rather have it right now. We'd rather have it and trying to combat those health insurance costs and keep those as low as possible. But great question, Ken. It's something that we'll continue to review at the end of every year.
So we monitor that at the end of every year then. Yeah, that ties in actually with our next question too, which is from Lindsay Latsko, and it's regarding the election. And a lot of buzz out there, a lot of concern that there may be a recession after the election or in the near future. What's your opinion, Aaron, on this, and how do you see it affecting our business?
Well, first of all, thank God it's over with. I think everybody's got election fatigue at this point. The reality is the presidential election and who wins gets so overblown, and there's so much negativism out there that talk of things like a recession and stuff like that is constantly there. But it's all kind of a political type talk. So as soon as the election's over, you don't hear anything more about that going forward. If you look at the fundamentals of the economy, they're very, very strong right now. Unemployment is extremely low. I know in our company we have 50, 60 jobs open right now that we're looking for people, and a lot of companies are in the same boat as us. Interest rates are still extremely low. We expect those to start eking up, and that's also a sign when interest rates go up that the economy is very healthy.
Sure.
So it's fighting off inflation. So I think that over the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to have a very stable, very good economy. Now, if you look in the last 5 years, our sales have grown each and every year, as has the industry. It went from a low of 9 million sales, now it's up around 17 million sales per year. That's now leveled off or gone down just a little bit this year, and I expect that to kind of continue at a flat pace over the next 5 years, but it's flat at a very high level. So going forward, we're not going to have the benefits of a growing market. We're going to have to be better and better and take more market share from other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So a good question from Lindsay on that. I know our Chamber Task Force has been working really hard on planning our holiday party for the employees this year. It's been a lot of fun. We've got some great things in store for you. So tell us when's the date on that, Aaron?
So it's one of my favorite nights of the year. It's going to be Saturday, December 10th. It's always the second Saturday in December. It's going to be at the Radisson Hotel again. Mike, I know you and your team have worked really hard on this event. We've got a killer band coming in. We're going to have a full sit-down dinner. I know you got a lot of other surprises. So it's something you're really going to want to be at this year. It's a lot of fun, and it's the one time of year that we get everybody in the company together. So I really look forward to seeing everybody December 10th in Kalamazoo for the Christmas party. We're going to get invitations out here in the next couple of weeks. So look for those coming at you.
Yeah, it'll be a fun event. Looking forward to seeing all of you there. So Christmas this year, I noticed, is on a Sunday, as is New Year's Day on a Sunday. So how does that work with holiday pay, that type of thing for our team?
Yeah, you kind of get shafted. You miss out on a couple of holidays, right?
Yeah, you kind of get gypped on that, right?
Yeah,
so
that's not
How's
fair.
that work?
Yeah, that's not fair. So it's very unusual that both Christmas and New Year's falls on a Sunday, so everybody kind of misses a day off of work. So what we're going to do this year is we're going to give everybody 2 bonus holidays. So we're going to call them kind of flex holidays. So you can decide when you want to use one or both of those days to have a day off, and that day off will be paid. So it's even better than having it actually on the holiday, because now you get to use it whenever you want to kind of fit your schedule. Is all you got to do is obviously get it pre-approved with your manager.
Okay, that's a bonus. That sounds great. So I'm sure people will be excited about that. Last question I have for you today is, what will our hours be on Christmas Eve this year, with Christmas Eve being obviously a Saturday?
So Christmas Eve is going to be on a Saturday this year. We got to be open a little bit on the sales side of things, and it will be dependent on each market. So if you get with your general managers, they can tell you per market when sales is going to shut down. Although we're going to run with a skeleton sales crew, So there'll be very few people working that day. Our goal is to get as many people off as possible. Service will be shut down completely on Christmas Eve, so all the service departments will have a couple of days off there, as well as the vast majority of accounting support positions will be closed too. So our guess is 90 to 95% of all of our employees will have Christmas Eve off as well, and then we'll obviously shut down early that day too.
Perfect. Well, sounds good. Great update today, Aaron. Appreciate you spending time with us. I want to thank all of our team members for everything that you do. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in with us today. We had another solid month in October, and we're looking forward to a really strong finish this year. Greatly appreciate everybody's efforts and what you do for the organization on a daily basis. It certainly doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate just pushing and finishing up strong this year. So thanks for all your efforts, Team Zeigler. Have a great week.